Greetings, shalom, shalom. Welcome to the channel. This is a man called Gavar. I'm going to be producing a series of very short snippets covering very basic knowledge that you need to acquire in order for you to take off your Egyptian garments and follow the ways of Yahuwah's army and be part of the movement that Yahuwah is starting. And I am just a tool. I'm just a piece of dirt that he is blowing in the direction that he wants to have blown. I'm nothing. I am nobody. I'm just a guy who has been living in the wilderness for about a dozen years now, off and on. Took a break, came back out of the wonderful, blessed, set-apart life that I was living away from Babylon. And I came back on grid from 2017 to 2020, and Yahuwah said, nope, not going to have you stay here, brother. Going to have you get thrown in jail to teach you a lesson that you just made a mistake, and now I want you to go back to work for me. So there you have it. More on that maybe another video. Yes, I was thrown in a cage for 16 days. Why? Am I a criminal? Did I hurt somebody? Did I harm somebody? No. No, I did not. All I did was argued my rights, my right to travel. And for that, an ignorant magistrate threw me in a cage on a 90-day no-bond warrant. It took my family 16 days to get me in front of a magistrate judge with a brain who, as soon as he looked at the case, realized the injustice of it, released me, no further requirements on my part. He actually came into the jail in plain clothes, true story, and met me in the outtake office. I remember I got back from the hearing, and I'm in my cell, started to put my things together, started to break down my bunk and break down my bathroom and put everything back in. So that I was given specific instructions what to do with all the things that didn't belong to me. They were all property of the jail. And I began going through that process, and the guard came up and knocked on my door, real polite, which was really interesting because they normally just stood at the door and yelled your name when they wanted you. But all of a sudden, he comes to my door and speaking in a real soft voice, hey, Vince, would you mind coming down, and the judge wants to talk with you. And I'm like, the judge, where's he at? He's down at the outtake. And I'm like, well, I'm not ready to leave yet. He goes, no, you're not leaving yet. We have to process paperwork. That'll take a while. But the judge wants to meet with you. And he was sizing me up. I realize now. But I was so elated and so excited about getting out of there after 16 days of unlawful incarceration, kidnapping essentially. I didn't realize what was happening until it was too late. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. A loan is actually a deposit by a customer with banker. And one last comment on that. So my point of mentioning the whole unlawful incarceration thing was that I've been through the fire. I've acquired this knowledge at great personal expense to me, so I have no problem requiring compensation from the body. A workman's worthy of his hire. I have carefully prayed and fasted over the passage dedicated that talks about when a brother asks you for money for a service. If it's a service that is legitimate, you should be willing to pay him. And so, you know what? If you guys want this knowledge, I'm willing to share it. But it came at great personal expense to me, and it's not free. This, however, is a little tidbit here. A loan is actually a deposit of money by a customer with a banker. This document is freely available on the internet. I didn't make this up. You can find it. Type in your Google. Don't use Google. Use Ecosia or DuckDuckGo or some other non-monitoring, non-monetized, where it's selling information, selling your search information to advertisers and other government entities. Type it in. A loan is actually a deposit of money by a customer with banker. This is straight out of Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. I verified it. I have a 4th edition in my possession. It's laying open in front of me right now to page 1085, and it says the following. A loan is a deposit of money by a customer with banker. It's not what you think it is. Banks are not authorized to loan money. You can read it yourself in the Emergency Banking Act, the Glass-Steagall Act. all the different bank, the act, abrogate, go clause. You gotta study, brothers and sisters. You don't lean on my knowledge. I challenge you. Prove me wrong. I'm already getting hate mail from ignorant members of the so-called body. I doubt they are really saved, but I'm already getting hate mail over my first post. I posted on my homepage on the mission tab. There's a video there entitled "Let My People Go," which graciously Jackson Snyder of the Yahad Vero Beach, whose services I've been attending off and on now for a couple years when I'm able, he allowed me to teach the message and promote it on his Hebrew Nation radio. I'm very grateful for that. It's already starting to get some views. It's close to 100 people have already viewed it now. And I'm already getting hate mail. Yeah, it's already happening. Anyway, people will be people. That's what they are. Anyway, so we're going to talk about loans, where money comes from. And I recommend to verify that what I'm saying is true and I'm not making this up, go on to YouTube and type in Professor Richard Werner, W-E-R-N-E-R, How Banks Create Money. There's about a 12-minute video where he talks about this. He makes a statement. Banks are in the business, got that fly. Banks are in the business of purchasing securities. That's what they do. They purchase securities. They don't loan money. That's not what they do. They are not authorized. There's nothing in the statutes that provides for them to be able to loan other depositors' monies to you. So when you went in there for a loan, mortgage or credit card, whatever it was, whatever they gave you, it was not a loan. It was an equal exchange of value. At some point during your interaction with that bank, I promise you, you signed a promissory note and you surrendered that to the bank and didn't ask for a receipt. Bank was all too happy to take that though, and they monetized that and deposited it into their bank and created a demand deposit account in your name, from which they then issued a check, and you then redeemed that money, and it was a fair swap. You did not get a loan. You made a deposit. Right out of Black's Law Dictionary. I'm not making this up, folks. Prove me wrong. Go ahead, prove me wrong. Just try. Just go ahead and try. I'll laugh at you all the way while you're trying. You didn't really get a loan. You contracted to borrow money from a bank, but you didn't get a loan. It was an equal exchange. The red underlined part here, fourth line down. It was an exchange, your note for cash, or more likely a check, to the seller, and then you took title, not ownership, but title to the property, and the bank just called it a loan. But reality, what happened is there was a fair exchange. You got hoodwinked, ladies and gentlemen. You made a deposit. They securitized your promissory note. They deposited it, and then they wrote you a check for the balance of that. Then they returned to the counter and they pulled out a retail installment agreement, which you also signed, obliging yourself to pay back the so-called loan. But there was never a loan. So the way to combat that isn't by charging them with fraud or saying they committed a crime or they're guilty of some kind of a perpetration of violation of your rights. No, you consented. There's a maxim in law that says consent obviates mistakes. So they made a mistake in procedure, and you went along with it, and you authorized it. You agreed to it. Consensus facit legem. Consent makes the law. So the way to approach that is to now go back through service of notices, conditional acceptance notices, which I can help you with for a fee, small fee, and to go back and ask them to reiterate the terms of the agreement, because a proper contract requires a meeting of the minds. If I were to write you a check for $10, you added 3 zeros onto it and go and cash it, that's not the agreement that I agreed to. So what you want to do is approach it from a standpoint of, what was the agreement, and was there a material breach of the agreement, and was there given full disclosure? I've already said too much for free. That's it. I'm done. mancallgevar.com, gevaryahu, gevaryahu @yahoo.com. Please like, share, subscribe. Thank you for